Welcome to the In the Court Show. I'm your host, Mr. B. Today we are going to do a reactionary video to Kevin Samuels' most popular video, Average at Best.
Honestly, I don't have a disagreement. I just came here because I honestly want some advice from you.
It says disagreement day.
Oh, I know, but this is my first time catching you on live. Normally I'm asleep. And
You have a job?
I do. I own a business.
Okay, so I do too.
And I do have a question.
But I have a business. And if you wanted my advice, you could always book a session if you can't catch us at the show live. You are more than welcome to go on my website and purchase your time to talk with me one-on-one. Because what you're trying to do is rather rude. But I will go ahead and do it because I'm going to use this as a teaching lesson. How old are you? How old are you?
I'm 35.
35 years old. 35 years old and you're a business owner.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. And what's your question?
My issue is, I want to know at what point when I'm just meeting a guy, do I tell him that I'm a business owner? Because my problem is that when I try to date down and the conversation comes up to where I own a business, the guy is either like, hey, can I come join in on you on that business? Or the guy is either like, hey, can I come join in on you on that business? Or can I put some money and be a business partner? And I'm not looking for that. And I honestly...
Hold on. I need to be clear on this subject. Where are you at?
North Carolina. And
you're saying when to tell somebody you own a business?
Because I find when I date down, guys see an interest and want to be like a business partner. And I'm learning that maybe I need a high value man because that's what.
Well, first off, ma'am, I really don't understand. What kind of man are you talking about? Because owning a business is no different than having a job, in my opinion. I'm not getting what you're saying. When should you? I'm not understanding why this is an issue. If you're, what kind of men are you? What kind of men are you dating?
I try to give guys that not a chance.
You try to do what?
I try to give guys that's not on my level a chance.
Why? What do you mean on your level? What does that mean?
That's making 6 figures or more.
But I don't okay. You try to give guys who are not on your level a chance. Why?
And because I honestly want a 6-figure guy, is what I'm realizing.
Okay, so let me just go ahead and net it out for you. You ready?
Uh-huh.
The guys you want aren't asking you out.
Well, I haven't been putting myself out there, honestly.
But you put yourself out there enough for the guys you don't want or beneath you to ask you out.
Those are like guys I met online.
Right. So again, the men you want are not asking you out. See, you ladies do this. Mm-hmm. You go and deal with men who you feel are beneath you, and then you ask how to fix them. I'm not beneath you. I don't know how to fix a guy that's down there. That's not my concern. The better question is, why can't you get a guy on your level? That's the real question. Well, first of all, I would tell you what I said in here automatically is a problem. Why you would come onto a show that you know is a disagreement day? It's selfish. It's like, yes, ma'am. It's like, I want what I want. I don't say things for no reason. That's why I asked you questions. You're 35 years old, a business owner. That means you understand what business is, and you know this is a business. And I have a show title. And you said, damn your show title, I want to talk to you. But you could have went to my business and booked time to talk to me, but you wanted what you wanted, how you wanted.
I'm sorry.
No, and I'm using this as a lesson. That's the problem with too many of you black women. You don't do shit the right way with black men. That was improper. And even when I told you the right way, you still were like, well, whatever. So I'm gonna use this. When was the last time you had a relationship?
Like the end of last year around December.
How long did it last?
A year.
A year. And was that man? Did you go to college?
Did I go to college?
Yes.
No, sir.
Okay. And how long have you owned your own business?
9 years.
And how long have you been making six figures or more?
The last 3.
Okay. Why do you need a man making six figures?
Because I'm finding out that the guys that I date, it's not working out.
What does that have to do with money?
Because I feel like I need a guy that I can respect and admire, and I'm ambition, and I want a guy that has that drive too. And when he doesn't, I find myself, encouraging him like, hey, babe, you can do this and you can do that. And then,
all right. So in North Carolina, what percentage of the population, what percentage of men in this country make six figures or more?
I think it's like 5%. I'm not
closer to 10. So
okay.
10%. All right. So the question is, what do those men who make that kind of money, who all women tend to want, what do they want?
I feel like they want arm candy, somebody who can have more to bring to the table than just looks, but also bring balance to their life. I feel like I can help them out on
Okay, slow down. I'm not understanding. You said they want arm candy, then you contradicted yourself. They want somebody that more than just looks.
Yeah, arm candy, but something behind, brain with it, and more in depth.
Do you know any men who make six figures or more?
My dad and my uncle.
Do you know any men that you are related to that make six figures or more?
Unrelated to? Yeah,
men that you are not related to.
Not on a personal level.
So you don't know them. You don't know what they want, but you want them. Ma'am, I'm going to suggest that you really don't know what you want. And saying six figures is just something that you've got taken from out there. But I'm not hearing this rooted to anything. What do you want ultimately? Do you want to be married, children, what?
Yes, I want to be married.
Do you want any children?
Yes.
How many?
I have a son now, so.
Okay. How old is your son?
He's 13.
Where's the father?
He's not in his life.
I didn't ask that. I said, where's the father?
Well, he's not like in it like I would like him to be.
All right, so let me go ahead and take this down, ma'am. Men who make the kind of money you're talking about have options, and typically they don't want to deal with women who have 13-year-old sons who are used to dating men. This doesn't sound appealing to the kind of man you're talking about. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I was thinking once I start booking session with you that
I can't change men.
I know, but I can approve myself, and I feel like I have a lot to offer to those type of men.
Okay, but see, you should have stopped right there. I just told you I cannot change men. And you said, once I book a session with you, I'm not a miracle worker. I'm telling you what they want. And you're still saying, yeah, but I want them. They don't want you.
But I have been working on myself this year and booking your.
Okay, ma'am, but okay. 35, 13-year-old son with a sketchy father. Why would a man who's in the top 10% of earners, who women across the country want that?
Because I have lot to offer. I feel like.
Would you want your son to, if you had a son making that kind of money, would you want him to bring home a woman who had a 13-year-old son from a sketchy father? Or would you prefer him to get a woman who had no children, was younger, and easier to get on his program?
Depending on his age.
See what I mean? See what I mean? This goes so deep for Black women. They will even, should have been an easy question. No, I would not want my son to bring, I want the best for my son. That should have been the appropriate answer. That's why I sat up. That is bullshit. You should want the best for your son.
Of course.
But this is, but, and are you thinking,
if he brought home a woman, yes, I feel like I'm the exception to the rule. But
no, you're not. That's the problem. You all think you're the exception to the rule, but your life has proven to you that you're not.
My love life is not that good. I agree with you.
That's my point, and ma'am, and that's my point. You ladies all feel like, listen, you ladies all feel like you're the exception to the rule. And then when someone like myself comes along and gives you a dose of reality, instead of just accepting it, it's like, yeah, but I'm special. You don't know any men on this level that are not your father, that aren't related to you. That means you don't know these men. You don't know where to go get them. You don't know what they want. But you're still saying, pick me. They don't want mid-30-year-old baby mamas. I'm trying to be polite, man, but they don't want those.
Can I ask you a question?
Did you hear what I said?
Yes.
Why is that so? Okay, go ahead.
Why is it so what?
Go ahead.
From my point of view, I feel like I get what you're saying. They do have better options, but also those better options are younger girls. Those younger girls don't necessarily 20-year-olds are not necessarily attracted to 45-year-olds.
Bullshit. I'm 51 and I can't beat them off with a stick. That's another one of you lies. No, younger women are attracted to older men. What are you talking about?
So can you see me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So do you feel like a woman like me?
Uh-huh. What would you rank yourself on a scale from 1 to 10? You cannot use 7.
Would I rate myself?
Just your face.
My face when I wake up, 5, but when I put myself together, 6.
Okay. And how tall are you?
5'5".
Dress size.
I'm sorry?
Your dress size.
A 3.
Okay. So that makes you, if you give yourself a 5, that's average.
Yes.
So average looking women tend not to get high earning men. They tend to get average men.
So
did you I mean, stop right there. Stop right there. Stop right there. Breathe and digest. You're 35 years old and you can look around and see the world. You don't tend to see higher earning men with average looking women off rip. If you do see them, they got their average looking woman when they were both really young and he built his way up. But a man earning the kind of money you're talking about does not go for an average looking woman.
I mean, my body is not average, so.
But ma'am, you please don't make me say it.
Say what? I really just wanted some advice. I love your.
I'm giving you advice, but you're not taking it. The advice is, ma'am, you're average looking at best.
I'm taking it in, but.
Okay, but you're not accepting the fact that, okay. Average looking women, average looking woman who's older, average looking older woman with a 13-year-old son. Average looking woman with a 13-year-old son with a sketchy baby daddy. This gets worse every time I say something. And now you're asking for a man who's in the top 10% of men. You don't qualify for one. And you're making, I mean, I don't want to have to go there, but when you put in all these other factors, why can't you just get a man that's an average guy?
Sometimes I feel like in order to fully submit, I have to feel like he's in.
Well, then you're gonna die alone. How about that? Let me just cut to the chase, ma'am. You can feel like what you want to, but women like you die alone, straight up, because you think you're better than the men that you qualify for. And the only reason, honestly, ma'am, that I can see a woman like yourself really thinking you deserve more is because you earn more money than most people around you in North Carolina. But if your ass worked at the post office, you would not think so highly of your opportunities. And that's the reality. Men don't care about your money. Not the kind of men that you want. We don't care about your money. It ain't ours. We care about the fact that you are older and you got kids. And you're average. And your reality of your life has showed you that. You don't have the kind of men that you want knocking on your door trying to find you. See, what we've done in this country, this world, is we've told women like yourself that you can have it all, and you got a Prince Charming who's 6 feet tall, 6-figure income, jawline, all this other kind of stuff. And I'm sorry, man. No. Most people get average people, especially average people. And you're an average person. I mean, let's be real. You're not running Microsoft. You got a pet grooming business. You've been making 6 figures for the last 3 years. Okay. But if I'm looking at you, if I looked at you and I took all that off of you, all the eyelashes and all the hair, what do you look like under there?
I mean, I look the same.
No, you don't. Because if you did, you wouldn't have all that on.
I'm sorry?
No, you don't. You don't look the same, because if you did, you wouldn't have all that on.
So what is your advice for women that...
All right, I'll tell you my advice, man, because you're not listening to me. This is why I always recommend you need therapy. People think most of us in the Black community need therapy, but you're not dealing with reality. I asked you about your child's father, and you couldn't answer me. But it doesn't sound like you're too proud of him. What kind of student is your child?
He's an A student.
Does he have any behavioral problems?
No, he actually got a YouTube channel, and he's trying.
I don't need no. But where is it? But his daddy is still. If his daddy is alive, does he have a relationship with his father?
Yeah, he does.
Then what's your issue with him?
He's not business minded like my father and my uncle. And
then why did you choose to make a baby with him before you got married?
Young and dumb. I was 16.
Exactly, and that cost. See? Yeah. That young and dumb shit, let me stop you right here. That young and dumb shit you Black women throw out as if it's supposed to get... Listen and listen well, women. Young and dumb is not a get out of jail free card. It doesn't go woof and change the fact. You still have to carry that consequence. And men are not rushing up to be stepfathers to 13-year-olds. What would be better is if you honestly sat down and asked yourself, what value can I bring to a man?
And I know that what I can.
Well, all right. What value? What is it?
What is it? I can help him with his business. I'm very business minded on the end of helping organize, hiring. I plant into planting my own garden, so I can definitely plan. I'm into improving my etiquettes with just self-improvement and working on myself. And
Ma'am, at 35 years old, here's what you told me. I can help him with his business. Due respect, ma'am. And I mean no disrespect, but 20 to 30% of people own businesses. What about the 70 to 80% of men who don't own them? That means that doesn't matter. That means nothing to the average man. Then the next thing you said, I can plant. Ma'am, that means nothing to most people because we go to grocery stores. Then you say self-improvement. I gave you a shot at saying what you have to offer to men, and you said nothing that we value.
What do you value? What do you?
Book a session. I'm not doing this. Nope. I'm done. I've tried to go around, but this has happened. The older you ladies get, the more you get set in your ways. Book a session because I don't want to do this in public, man. Because you seem like a sweet woman, but you're not getting it.
You're being so mean.
I'm not being. Don't tell me I'm being mean. I'm about to be mean. I get tired of you broads telling me I'm being mean because you cannot handle the goddamn truth. You called my show on a day that you ain't even supposed to be here, and I honored the call and sat here and tried to help you. And I'm telling me I'm being mean. Get the fuck out of my phone. Tired of y'all.
For those who's not very familiar with Kevin Samuel's show and the format of his show, he was typically do a show where he will speak to a certain situation for a period, and then throughout the week he'll have a reaction show called Your Disagreement Show. And the expectation is for the viewers to call in to say, here's the point that you made tonight on the show, and here's why I disagree, or here's why I agree. And so this was supposedly his disagreement show. And the young lady called, not having watched the show, having no proper context of what he was talking about. And so there was a bit, of the feeling that maybe she was, not taking his business, his craft seriously, and just felt like she can just call at random to sort of inject her own issues and go off course from what the show topic was. So he was a little annoyed by that.
Now, prior to this particular point, I think you guys can hear that Kevin was a little agitated. He was making a point about, the fact that he has structure to how his show should go. And because he's a business owner and she's a business owner, he was hoping that she would understand that there's certain protocols that you set for your business so that people can comply and respect how you handle your affairs, right? So he didn't feel like the fact that his show structure was supposed to be a disagreement show on a particular topic, she interjected in such a way that interrupted the overall topic of the show and just kind of took the show off course. And that, in a way, to him was extremely disrespectful. That, in a way, to him, made it seem as if she didn't care about the structure that he had set in place for his own business and wanted to weigh in and change the topic to something that she wanted to talk about. And I think that was a little off-putting for him, which is why you hear a little bit of a tone on his part. It sounds like, for those who's not following along, she's calling to get advice around around how she should interact with certain men. I guess the type of men that she's dealing with are men who are opportunistic. It seems like it's men who essentially are trying to take advantage of her. Earlier on, it sounds like she is expressing to Kevin that she's overly concerned about people who are not having the right intentions when they first meet her, that they see her as an opportunity to use her and take advantage of her, and not as a real opportunity to get to know her and to love on her. And for that, she is a bit apprehensive. And so her question was, when should be the appropriate time for her to disclose to some of these guys that she actually has a very successful business that is, you know, pretty lucrative. And I think her question, you know, kind of came off as if it's not being asked in the most humble of ways, right? She's saying things like date down. She's saying these things, and I think it's a little off-putting as a man hearing her say date down, in the sense that maybe those guys are not in the same financial place that she's in. But how do those guys even have a date with her if she didn't already give them the opportunity? So if you saw fit to even go out with someone, then I don't think you should view them as dating down per se. I think you should say, okay, maybe they're just in a different place, but I'm guessing there were things about those men that she liked, which is the reason why she decided to date them in the first place there. So sometimes we have to take inventory of who we are inside, because ultimately who we are inside will determine what we attract to us, right? It will determine how we interact with others. It will determine sort of the energy around you, the attitude that you have, the mindset that you have, the mannerisms that you have, the habits that you have. Those are all, you know, important aspects of who you are, right? And if what I can hear so far is that she's just the way that she's sort of having the discussion, it's more along the lines of men beneath me, which gives you this, I'm here and you're here because I make so much money, and money seems to be the thing that matters most, not a man's character, not a man's vision, not a man's commitment to God. Nothing about his values supersedes the fact that you make more money. But because you make more money than him, you're here and he's here. So you're dating beneath you. The then question becomes, well, who is it that's attracting those type of men? It's you. You attract those men. And why are you drawn to those type of men? Why do you somehow find yourself always in the same room with the same type of men? In part, that's also what you like. You like men that are not where you are. Maybe it makes you feel more important to flex on those men. I don't know. Maybe, you know, maybe it has something to do with your past childhood experiences. I don't know. But the fact is, you're giving your time, your most valuable asset, to people who you have deemed as not worthy of you. Why? It's a legitimate question. Now, he raised another point, and the point that he raised was, is it possible that the men that you are attracted or that you want to attract don't necessarily want you? Meaning, as much as we have a wish list as to what we want in the people that we desire, those people too have a wish list as well. They kind of have an idea of what type of woman will best complement them for where they are in life. So for those six-figure earners who may be looking for a wife or looking for a woman or a girlfriend or a partner, right? There's still sort of an idea, a framework of what that woman looks like. And if you don't find yourself in the circle where you're being considered by them, it may mean that you are outside the framework of what they're looking for. So the way to adjust that is to modify yourself, you know, modify your thinking, change your circle, change your friends, you know, maybe put yourself out there in a different manner to kind of draw in a new crowd so that you can now be in the same vicinity and in proximity to these men. But as it currently stands, it doesn't seem like she's making very much effort to put herself out there, as she has stated, to be in the circle with these people, to have these people as friends or as acquaintances, so that the proximity is there, so that she could potentially be considered for, you know, some sort of relationship with them. Doesn't seem like that's taking place. So there's two things there to consider. One, are you doing what you need to do to be what it is that you want that person to see in you? Because those men who are high value men also have a checklist of things they want. You know, they want respectful women. They want women who carry themselves a certain way. They want women, who adds to their life and not, take from their life, not stress them out. They want support. They want, maybe a real feminine woman. You know what I mean? These men all have these criteria themselves that they look for. And if you're not those criteria, sometimes what you need to do is just maybe study those men a little more and even consult them and say, well, what are the characteristics that you look for in a woman? Like when you're choosing somebody to be in a relationship with, what do you look for? What do you value? What do you want? Right? And then see, based on what they say, are you in line, or is there things that you need to make in terms of improvement to get there? There's a series of questions that Kevin asked, and this is a typical approach that he takes just to get a better sense of the person that he's talking to and how best to advise them. So he first tries to determine, well, what is it that this person wants, right? Then he tries to determine, why does this person want this? And then he tries to connect the dots to see if there's a correlation between what you want and why you want what you want. And then there was a few questions that he asked her surrounding around, like, what does she know about what it is that the type of person that she wants? And that is meant to see, is she researching? Is she going above and beyond to discover what it is she wants? So for instance, if I want a car, right? I want a new Land Rover. Okay. So the brand new Land Rover coming out, if I want it, I can either go straight to the dealership and say, I want a new Land Rover. I can call a friend and ask, hey, have you ever owned a Land Rover? What's been your experience with them? Or I can go online and do some research around the Land Rovers, what features they're in them, what kind of cars they are, what their purpose for, how's the gas mileage, pricing, all that information. There's some element of research that you have to make whenever it is that you want to embark on something, whether it's a new relationship, whether it's a new, career, whether it's, a stock or something you want to invest in. You have to take the time to actually do the research to discover what is it about this particular thing that I'm drawn to, that I like, and just to familiarize yourself with it. And I think him asking those questions was meant to expose the fact that she has not made the effort to even learn the type of man that she says she wants, which is this top 6-figure man, top 10% of the men. What do they want? Because that it's almost like business, right? Like you can create a business that you think, the world needs, but if it's not what the demand is, if there's no demand for the business you're creating, you're not going to get a lot of takers. But if you discover the problem, here's what consumers want, and here's the problem consumers are having, and then you create a solution to the problem, then now the consumers are going to be drawn to you because you're essentially the solution to the problem. So in a similar fashion, if you want a particular type of person, first thing you need to figure out is, what is that person like? What does that person value? What does that person want? What is the solution that they're looking for me to be? Then you can present that solution so that those people can be drawn to you as the solution to the problem that they're having. And what he's trying to extract here from her is whether or not she took the time to take those steps to at least research and find out what those men that she says she want themselves. And then to figure out how she can position herself to be the solution to their problem. And what you're seeing is that she didn't really give it much thought. I think for her, bless her heart, she seems like a real sweet lady. But I think for her, it's more the fact that she's tried a lot of relationships with certain types of men, struck out with them, and now said, you know what, maybe the reason why I'm not having much luck with these men is because they don't make as much money as me. So maybe, maybe if I get a man who makes more money than me or as much money as me, then that somehow will be a better fit because we'll have more in common, more to talk about. And you were seeing a lot of things that Kevin was doing is he was trying to point out those areas. He asked her what was her education level. There are some men who, they have college degrees, they're well spoken. They tend to be the men that have a lot of money. There are some men who are in trade who did not follow that school path and also have a lot of money. But what he's trying to say is, depending on how well educated you are, the circles of friends that you have, where you're going to meet these men, these are going to determine what you're going to get. You know what I mean? What type of pool, what options are going to be available to you, right? So he was pointing all these things out as if to show her, like, these are areas that you want to look into, right? Maybe, find a different avenue. And then as he's digging in to get more information about her, he's asking her, well, do you want children? How many kids do you want? Do you have children? What happened to the person you had the child with? These are all relevant questions because it's going to help him determine, where she is and how that may potentially be a hindrance to her getting what she wants. So, okay, that was Kevin Samuels. And you see how that ended. It ended with him totally, losing his patience with her and really saying what he's saying. Now, if you ask me, do I believe that he was being mean? From what I've observed, I think he made some efforts to be respectful to her. I don't believe that he intended any malice towards her, from what I'm hearing. Now, I know that this video rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And it made a lot of people see him as a person who was, not friendly towards the Black females, who he was calling into his show asking for advice. I think sometimes when you have cold hard truth for people and you tell them those truths, it's not always well received. It's the Bible tells you to speak the truth in love. And I think he probably could have found different ways to say everything that he said to her that may have been a little softer, that may have been a little bit more considerate of her feelings. I'm sure, we can always refine and be better in our communication. So anyone who has that sort of critique for him, I would say maybe you're right there. But I also believe that sometimes you need to hear the cold, hard truth as raw and uncut as it needs to come, to prompt a change, to prompt some sort of revelation within yourself that something's off and you need to make some changes. I don't believe he meant any harm by this, but, there are some people who took offense. To everyone who was listening, I would advise that you certainly take the gems from this show that you possibly can, and there are some gems, and spit the bones out. Not everything is meant to be consumed. There may be some things that maybe didn't sit well with you, spit that out. But I think for the most part, he was just trying to advise her that maybe let's be a little bit more humble. Maybe let's not assume that you're above somebody else when, you're probably just, an average person who needs an average person to do relationship with. Right? If you want a person who's elite, at least find out what they want, right? Find out what they value and try to be that for them. But if you don't know what they want and what they value and you just want them to want you, then, you may be at a disadvantage and you may have a hard time drawing those people in. And I think that's what was being said here. And I think that was in part what this lady has been experiencing. She hasn't drawn in the type of men that she wants, in part because she's not what they want. So to all of those who saw this show, this reaction show, I thank you for your time. And, until we speak again, I wish you all the best. God bless.